Ladies, my beautiful Arbonne reps, welcome to your first evening training session on your 6-week training program. I'm really excited to have you on board tonight, and we'll just go through a few quick things. To ask questions tonight, go up to your left-hand side. It should be about here, and there'll be a Q&A button. If you click on that, you're able to ask any questions that you would like to ask throughout the evening. And as I go through the slideshow, I'll be popping back in every now and again to check your questions. If I haven't answered them, write them anyway, and then I'll get to them as we get to the end. So if one or two people online could click on that and let me know that you know how to use it, that would be wonderful. Otherwise, I'll click straight into our presentation. So let me share my screen with you. Bring up this. All right, so now you can see my screen. So what we want to talk about today is just what you're capable of when you understand what business you're in and what powers you have to make that business work. In modern times, it's really easy to get this stuff confused because you want to be all things to all people, which makes perfect sense because you want to give as much value as you can to the world. But once you understand what it is that you actually do and why you're doing it, you can actually target your messaging more effectively, which means your clients will connect to you better and essentially get better results. So let's get cracking. For those of you who haven't met me, my name is Lauren. I'm the managing director, owner, founder, all those fancy words, of Moxxi. So Moxxi is an organisation which is designed to create a movement of motivated women who are vibrant and courageous in every way. So I'm the blonde, my beautiful business partner Gemma is the brunette, and we're here to make your life more fun, more motivated, and more courageous in every way. My first question that I want to pose to you tonight is, what business are you really in? Now, Arbonne is a fantastic vehicle to achieve your goals in life, but it has a lot of streams. You're talking about makeup, you're talking about skincare, you're recruiting people to offer them a business opportunity, which is very easy to set up with lots of support. But what business are you really in? If someone asks you what Arbonne is, what is the answer that you give? This is one of the toughest questions that you will get, and you might think you've got it dialed, but I'd like to ask you what your answer is compared to someone who's just come back from an Arbonne convention. I'm pretty sure that there'll be some disparity in what they think their business is. And there is no right or wrong answer. If you're currently in the business of selling amazing skincare to Australian individuals to ensure that they are not poisoning their body and are getting the best quality products available, fantastic. If you're in the business of offering young women the opportunity to not enter the workforce at a 9-to-5 capacity but earn the same amount of money, brilliant. If you're in the business of recruiting dudes and changing the perspective of Australia that men are just as important in the skincare industry as women, brilliant. But can you see that all three of those options are an option that could be held within Arbonne? So understanding what business you're really in will give you the way to market yourself, the way to focus your connections and marketing moving forward, and ultimately will get you better results. So what I'd like you to do now is actually grab a pen and paper if you haven't got one already, and on the top of ask yourself the question, what business are you really in? What are you doing Arbonne for? Who do you want to impact? And what is the impact you want to have? Ultimately, Arbonne is an opportunity for you to have a greater impact in the world in the way that you want to. But no one else can tell you what you need to be passionate about or could be passionate about. You know what you're passionate about. Only you have this answer. So think about it and see if answering this question for you and what's true to you actually gives you a different perspective on your business, and hopefully gives you more clarity and therefore courage to go out and seek success every single day. My next question for you is, what do you really want? So why did you start Arbonne? And I know that Arbonne has a really big emphasis on your why. When you do your opening plan parties, you need to tell your audience as to why you started Arbonne. But I'm talking bigger, long-term picture. It's wonderful that you started Arbonne for spending more time with your family, or having financial freedom, or the ability to meet lots of amazing new people on a regular basis. But what do you actually want out of it in the long run? And you need to be really clear about this. One of the subjects I want to talk about at a later date is relationship with money, but I 100% want you to consider here, how much money do you want to earn from Arbonne? When you were a kid, did you want to just scrape by and pay your bills? Did you maybe want to drive a Mazda rather than EH? You know, what did you want to do as a kid? The love of money can be dangerous, but knowing how much money you want to earn is really important. There's no amount of good that poverty can buy. So I really want you to consider what you really want. If you really want to drive a fancy car, have a beach house, and send your entire family over to the US and support an African village in building wells, you're going to have to earn a lot of money. So what does that mean? Is that $1 million a year? Is that $50,000 a year? Is it somewhere in the middle? Understanding what this means will help you break down exactly what you need to do to get to that goal. So X number of sales per week, X number of new people in your group per week. Is it downlines? I know it's uplines. You get what I mean. The recruits you're pulling in. How much money do they have to earn? What do you have to do to help them to get to that point so that you can move up the ladder as quick as you would like, whatever's right to you? Along with money, you have to think of time. How much time do you really want to put into it? Now, if you're telling me you want to earn $500,000 but you only want to do it an hour a week, I'm sorry, honey, you're in the wrong game. But if you want to do that, I don't know if there is a game for you to play. So be realistic, but consider what you're willing to put into it. What we're talking about next week is actually time management. And if you have the same amount of time every day as Beyonce does, but I bet you and I are not as effective as that woman. So I'm not saying you need to put in 10 hours a day, but you might need to put in 3 hours of really effective time 3 times a week. And what can you expect to get out of that? How many phone calls can you make? If you convert 1 lead per 10 phone calls and you need 7 leads, well, then you're going to have to make 70 phone calls, aren't you? How long is that going to take you to do each week? So what you need to do if you work with me is actually write down on your page as well, what do you really want? Be crystal clear on your goals. Time, money, effort, relationships. Who do you want to work with? Why do you want to work with them? Get really clear, because if you get clear on this, you will get rid of that overwhelm feeling and, oh, shivers, just so much to do, so much to grow, so many people to meet, and it becomes strategic and actually quite fun. I don't know about you, but I really enjoy hitting targets. I really enjoy getting jobs done. So if you do it this way, you actually set yourself up for significantly more success, and also the ability to surprise yourself and maybe even congratulate yourself, which I think is a really important part of business. We didn't get into business to be bored and lonely and overwhelmed. We got into business to succeed and celebrate. You with me? All right, next, you've got skills. One of the things I've had a lot of you say to me is I don't have the skills to do it. I don't like cold calling. I don't like standing up in front of people and talking. I don't like, tell me what you're currently struggling with. Tell me what you currently think you don't have skills in. I'm just going to pop back into the page so I can see your questions. So let me pull back and stop sharing my screen. So if you have any skills that you think you're lacking, just pop them in the Q&A button just up here. Thanks, Nat. Is everyone seeing the presentation that I'm going through? I am sharing my screen with you, but if it's just going to my desktop, which is Wales, then that's not much good to you, and I'll just do it like this. So if I can have anyone's comments, if they are seeing that slideshow when I'm running through it, that would be wonderful. So the skills that you need to actually perform your role as an Arbonne consultant is simply everything that you have at the moment. There's a reason you're doing this job, and it's because you believe in yourself and you're good at what you do. You build relationships and you want to help people, right? That's why you do it. Now, there's things that everyone definitely has to work on, but link into what is your native genius. So one of the activities I ask a lot of my Moxxi ladies to do is actually write down 100 reasons why they are awesome. Now, 100 reasons seems like a lot. Most people get stuck about 30. But we always underestimate ourselves the first time. So if you think you can't talk to strangers or you're not very good at approaching people, think of a time when you've actually gone up to someone in a park. Thank you, Kelly. It's working. Think of a time when you started a conversation on public transport, or you've met up with some friends and subsequently met their friends and had a raging conversation. I'm sure you've done it. Don't tell yourself you can't have a conversation with a stranger. Instead, start looking for evidence all around you that you are very capable of it. These skills only come about because of a belief that you have. And if you do not believe you have that skill, you will find evidence to support that. So that's the belief cycle we were talking about at the event last time. You find the evidence to support your belief. So when you're ready to identify your skills, start looking for evidence around you, and you'll become more confident, more courageous, and start to do more of what gets you results. I hope that everyone's thinking about their skills and then their weaknesses. So weaknesses are important to acknowledge, and you can definitely work on them. There's a lot of training out there. But what I want you to do is focus on your positives, focus on your strengths. If you spend your whole life trying to work your negatives and get stronger at things, you end up being mediocre at a lot of stuff. If you accept your weaknesses and excel with your excellent qualities, you become unreal at this stuff, and you can have people help you with this stuff. Making sense? Let's go back to the slide presentation. Screen share, full screen, technology is fabulous. All right, so this takes us to message consistency, and this was a big point that I wanted to make with you around understanding what you want out of Arbonne and what you're actually offering. Once you understand both those things, you can message more consistently out to the market. The key thing with any kind of network marketing is you. You're the point of difference. Everyone's offering the same fabulous products. Everyone's offering the same business opportunity. But are you inspiring the people around you to A, try a new product? Because let's face it, we're all creatures of habit and stick with what we know, or what our mum taught us, or what our friend told us when we were young. And maybe even take up a new business opportunity, which to a lot of people is a really scary concept. So if you know what you're doing, so what business you're in and why you're doing it and what you want to achieve, you can inspire people with that. If someone came to you and said, yeah, I've got this business and it's hopefully going to help me pay my bills a little bit easier, and I might go for promotion, and there is the opportunity, it's not very compelling. But if someone came to you and you said, look, Arbonne is a brilliant business, it gives me the opportunity to meet amazing mothers who are staying at home after birth and don't want to go back to work. It gives me the opportunity to teach them how to build a business through talking to people about something that they love and has a steady cash flow of about $1,000 a week in the first few months, building up to XYZ depending on what your goal is. Can you see that if that is a 50-year-old businesswoman, she's not going to be interested at all, but if it's a mum staying at home, just had a baby and doesn't want to go back to work, your message is going to be so compelling because you're talking directly to her. And this is what we call in the market niching. So if you understand your niche and actually who you're targeting, your messaging through your Facebook advertising, your conversations that you're having with people, on your website, even voicemail can be so consistent and so clear. And people will want to come to you because they're interested in that. Now, niching can be quite a scary idea because you think you're taking the 21 million people in Australia and crunching it down to potentially 500,000 people. I don't know, that's a small number in comparison to 21 million. But would you rather 80% of 500,000 people or 1.0001% of 20 million? Like, think of it about if someone's talking directly to you and your needs in life, are you more likely to buy from them? So don't be afraid to really niche your market down and understand exactly who you're serving. Know that there is the opportunity to serve people outside of that because some people will see how passionate you are about your niche and come to you because of it. But niching will allow you to connect with people better, which in the end is what Arbonne's all about, right? Okay, so this is my favorite quote. Life shrinks and expands in proportion to one's courage. So starting a new business is a very scary idea. Even if you niche, even if you know your market, even if you're clear on your messaging, sometimes you actually struggle to make money, you struggle to make connections. Sometimes you feel down. Sometimes you don't want to do it. I get that. I do. But what can you do to be courageous, to go out there and change something? You know, once you understand the goals that you have to set for yourself to receive the reward that you're after, then you can use courage to go out and do that. You can use courage to create a new connection, but sitting at home wishing that it was easier, wishing that that advertising you did work better, wishing that people would respond to your emails isn't going to go anywhere. Be courageous enough to trust your inner genius. Be courageous enough to realize that you are amazing and enjoy the opportunity. No one is going to be attracted to someone who's hating their business. No one's going to want to hold a party from Mrs. Down Doldrum who is desperate for a sale. By taking a courageous approach to not only your business but your life, you will sparkle and you will attract people left, right and center. You can tell in your own group already, I'm sure, that there's some people that consistently take amazing, courageous action and get great results. And because of that, they're smiling more, they're getting more excited about their business. And because of that, they're getting better results, and it's this amazing cycle. So how about you just commit for a week to do something courageous every single day and see what it does to your business? And that leads to the final question for this week. How badly do you want it? How badly do you want to succeed? So I've asked you some really tough questions tonight. What business are you in? So essentially, what is your niche? What are you offering people? What's your point of difference as an individual? What are your goals in the business? How much do you want to make? How much time do you want to have? How many lives do you want to influence? These are big questions, and a lot of people will shy away from them and just go, oh, well, I'll keep building my Arbonne business. It's going okay, it's fine, it's whatever. But the people, the 20% of you that's going to go out and really nail this, really understand what you're offering to the market, is who is going to get results. I guarantee it. It hurts, but you have to go deep. How badly do you want to succeed? This is a really important question, and be honest with yourself. If you don't want it that bad, if you just came on board to potentially make a little bit of money and made some cool chicks, but you're not really that into it, then acknowledge that. And you're more than welcome to stay with Arbonne, but just live in that space and be happy there. Don't try and push yourself to do something you don't really want to do, because it will show through and you'll just end up getting frustrated. Trust me on this. We've all been there. So that's the presentation as such for this evening. I wanted to give a good amount of time for Q&A because I find that people often come up with some really great questions. So I'm just going to continue the conversation. If you have a question about your own niche or building a brand or marketing that consistent message, please pop it in the Q&A question area up here and I will answer them as they come through. So while I'm waiting for any questions, I would like to talk to you about consistent messaging. So I know a lot of you are using forums like Facebook or mothers groups in Facebook or individual messaging of people in Facebook or email, and that's a really great way to find people. It absolutely is. But think about your consistent messaging that you're putting across. I don't want your Facebook page to turn into an Arbonne fan page. Have a life as well. Show people, sell them the dream. Show them what they could be living if they were doing Arbonne. So you're happy, you're healthy, you're going to have to start taking care of yourself because people will want to buy from people who are well put together because that is a life that they want to attain. So you have to start living that brand. If you're a mum and you're targeting mums, put lots of photos up of all the wonderful times you're having with your children. Get testimonials from people who are in your team telling others how great it is and how much support you give them. Build your own personal brand. Get super consistent on it and be excited about it. Don't try and be something you're not. Definitely don't try and do that. Authenticity is the best way to achieve anything. Be real. Be vulnerable. Like 100%. Sometimes life doesn't go to plan. Today, I was emptying my dishwasher and the whole cupboard fell apart and I broke every single bit of crockery we have. And I put a photo and a video on Facebook because even though my life is all together, I do a lot of silly things. So by having that connection with your client base, they understand who you are, what you're offering, you can get a lot more repeat business, people that want to join your business, and 3 people that trust you. So isn't that what Arbonne's all about? So we're not having any question comes through. Is there anything from this presentation that anyone would like me to speak further on? What I found with Moxxi when I was growing Moxxi, the biggest thing was understanding exactly what goals I wanted to achieve. This strategy definitely reduced the feeling of overwhelm and gave me the top 3 things that I wanted to achieve each day. Knowing that allowed me to take consistent steps and consistent action in a routine environment, which gave me better results. If you're just every now and again shooting off an email, every now and again putting a Facebook status update, every now and again making a few phone calls and following up on clients, you're not going to get the results you want. So in building a brand, what kind of customer care, what kind of awareness do you want people to have around your business? Think about this. It's really important. You know, you don't have to turn into everyday texting, everyday emailing fiend. But how often do you want to keep in touch with people? This is a really important idea for you to consider because it will start to attract those people to you. If you like to just have people that happily boil away until they're ready, that's fantastic. Put that out there. Have that intention in your work. If you want people that are constantly in touch, talking about you, super excited about your product, you're probably going to have to feed them a little bit more love. So knowing what you want out of your business and who you want to serve will help you determine exactly the go-to-market strategy that you're going to choose. If you have any questions about this, even after the presentation, please feel free to put them in the Facebook group. Once you define this, you'll actually find that even though there's a whole bunch of Arbonne reps in your area, you might actually be serving different people. So if you attract the wrong person into your business who's not the person you want to work with, refer them to someone else. That's a fantastic way to build business. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a lady in a more mature age bracket who was an Arbonne rep and she attracted a 17-year-old into her group who didn't really gel very well but was actually a really great consultant? Maybe she could refer that person to you. Thank you, Natalie. Natalie's saying that we're making her think, which is great, and that's a fantastic Arbonne rep, so I take that as quite a compliment. I'm trying to think of the best example that I can give you around stepping out of your comfort zone, but I think that one of the things we talked about previously was stepping out of your comfort zone with friends. So if you don't like cold calling, find a group, find a tribe, find a nation of people who are going to support you to do that. So tonight I'm actually sitting at my friend Dan's studio, essentially. He has a share space and we're editing videos and getting stuff ready to go online tomorrow. I'm not very good at doing that. I get very bored and I eat a lot. So when I want to edit videos or make changes to my website, I often come over here. He doesn't actually help me that much. He doesn't input that much. But having him there ensures that I do what I said I would do. And if I do have a question or I start to freak out, I have someone to bounce ideas off. So have a think about who's in your community at the moment, who's in your tribe, and how you can encourage and support them, and in turn be encouraged and supported by them. Never try to do things alone. It gets really stressful, really overwhelming, and Arbonne's fun. You've got a great community of women. You definitely support one another. You have one of the best training regimes I've ever seen. And you get Tiffany rings and trips to Vegas. I don't know why you wouldn't want that. So all I can do is encourage you to continue to be courageous. Understand who you are and what you're offering as your business. Understand who your ideal client is and target them directly. If you know your ideal client, go down to the where they hang out, what they eat for breakfast, what their biggest problem is, what music they like, how many kids do they have, if they have kids, do they hate being single, what is their biggest problem and what are you solving for them? Then you can absolutely target your message to them. And then highlight your skills, go after your skills, don't focus on your negatives. Be courageous in everything you do, and I guarantee you will succeed beyond your wildest dreams. I hope that this has been helpful. I look forward to any comments that you have in the Facebook group after. I also would love it if you would contribute to the Facebook group with any improvements that you're experiencing through this program. I put a call out to you at the beginning that we're going to make $100,000 collectively. We now have 12 or 13 girls in this group. That's just under 10 grand each over 6 weeks. If we can't do that, we've got an issue. So I would really love to see this happen. I want to throw that goal out the window and absolutely have something that we can all be super proud of at the end. So thank you for giving me your time tonight. It's on again next Tuesday. We're going to be looking at time management and how to make absolute most out of every 24-hour period. And I know as a business owner it's something I struggle with, so I hope that it will be relevant to you. We have at 7:30 in the morning and 7:30 at night on Tuesday every week for the next 6 weeks. So keep in touch on that Facebook forum. Make sure that you're following Moxxi on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if there's anything I can do, please feel free to contact me. Have a wonderful evening, ladies, and whatever you do, be courageous.